Everybody hates Chris. Well, and Trevor Lawrence if you follow the Jaguars.
Yeah,
We love Trevor. We're not going to take that on this podcast.
Either you love him or you hate him. It don't matter. The man keeps winning games. This is Travis Holmes with BigCatCountry.com, the Duval Dive Podcast, and the Believe Podcast Network. And I'm joined with my guys, Connor McNally and Flash, the Samurai. Happy Hour Sports, the Jungle Beat Podcast. What's up?
Happy Hour Sports.
How you doing?
We're gonna save you guys. We'll save you guys the there you go. There's the ring light reflection. We'll save you the no sunglasses this show. What's up?
What's going on?
So we trying to get to the bottom of this Trevor Lawrence insane discourse. I mean, you guys are in this. You're in the fan base. You're a part of the Duval Devout. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The Jaguars obviously winning games, and there are some wild conversations that's going on in these streets. Mm-hmm. And while I swear tonight won't be all quarterback discourse, we're going to get to the playoffs. We're going to get into the other position groups and all that stuff a little bit later. We did need to kind of at least level set a little bit and just kind of talk about the Trevor Lawrence question, or some people might even call it the Trevor Lawrence problem. How are you feeling about him so far? Let's just start there.
I mean, I'm calling it the Trevor Lawrence experience. I think that, you know what I mean? You want to call it a problem, you can call it a problem, but when it's clutch time, the man shows up. For me, he's half genius, half goofball. So, like, that's the best way I can put it, bro. Like, and don't get me wrong, in terms of actual play, like in the middle of the games, he has put our defense in some really terrible positions. And I think that's the end all be all for me personally. I just don't want it because our defense plays well. But like when you put them in bad positions, I mean, what can you do at that point? You know, that slant for a touchdown, I put that on Trevor. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
okay.
Yeah, it really depends. You know what I mean? It depends on your expectations. And I've said this on, I feel like every podcast we've ever been on. If you are truthful and objective about Trevor Lawrence, like me personally, a lot of people think I'm a Trevor Lawrence defender. I have his poster in the background. I think he's 15 to 17 ranked quarterback in the league. You know what I mean? I think if you're honest, the expectation that he came into the league with, being Andrew Luck, being Peyton Manning, he's not a generational quarterback. That's just what it is. At least he's not shown it. Okay. He's shown flashes, right? But he doesn't have the consistency. He can play top 10, or at the end of the day, he could play in 20 plus. We've seen both, right? We saw both probably in the last game. But yeah. I think if you're truly honest, Trevor's an average quarterback, but he has above average talent. And I think at the end of the day, what I told Flash before too, and he came around on it, he's clutch. Do you want a guy that puts up all the stats, quarters 1 through 3, and then when it comes clutch time, he doesn't show up? Do you want a Pro Bowl guy that doesn't, I looked up the stat just real quick earlier today. After we, hopefully win against the Titans, how many quarterbacks have multiple, 7-8 win seasons with the Jags over the last, since they came into the league?
Not many.
Brunell, not many. I think Leftwich and Garrard had 2 each.
Yeah, I know Garrard was 500 in his 5-year time frame. So yeah, you might be right on that one.
Yeah. Bortles had that 1, but other than that, like Trevor gets way too much hate. Where I think obviously there's some criticism he deserves for sure. But shout out James Coleman. If wide receiver, if a ball hits him in his hands, he's blaming that on Trevor. So that's how half the fan base, even the media, is right now. So,
but I don't like that. Don't do that.
Well, wait. So let me set the stage right now. Just make sure we're on the same page. All right. So since Sunday's Duval Dive Pod with Big Game James Coleman, there's been a lot of public and private cape wearing for Trevor, and you've seen it on the socials, you've seen it on the Reddits, you've seen it on the Discords. You know what I'm talking about. He had 4 turnovers, and he also had a game-winning drive. So, all right, cool. But it's to the point where I've kind of seen people who I know and I trust to know a little bit of football say things that are kind of absolutely asinine, like the phrase "bad chip," for instance. I don't know if you've seen this phrase, and again, I'm not.
What does that mean?
You're gonna see, but I've heard multiple people tell me that the play, the thick 6, the interception return by the big dude, was a bad chip by Brenton Strange, and I'm like, yo, yo, the word bad chip don't exist because at the end of the day, it's Brenton Strange's job or whoever's the chipping person, the running back, receiver, etc.'s job to get into a route.
Right.
Their job is to actually get out into their route. Their only job is to hold this guy up for 1 second. A bad chip is not a phrase that exists in NFL football unless you just didn't get a hand on the guy at all.
Yeah,
that is block.
He blocked him for like the half a second that Trevor would have needed. I really think that was just a really good defensive play call. Like, you know what I mean? I can't really, our tight end was going into a route and their guy was coming off the edge. Like, I mean, I don't know what else he could have done in that type of situation. He didn't even look that way. But like, I mean, sure. He wasn't even really able to get into his like progression for real, if I'm honest. Maybe.
Well, the thing is, now that's why I disagree because most people don't understand like a quarterback the way a play is schemed up. If the ball's supposed to be let go at the top of his drop. By the time his foot hits that ground, unless it's a pump and go or something along those lines where it's schemed to look like the ball's supposed to come out at the top of his drop, the ball is supposed to be gone here.
Yeah. Okay.
Here. The ball's supposed to be gone. Jacoby Myers is open.
Yes.
However your read wants to go, Jacoby Myers is open right there. Trevor taps the ball 3 times. On the third tap of the ball is when he's hit. That's obviously the quarterback waiting too long within the scheme of the play. There's no one else to blame, and the word bad chip does not exist. And I swear, I hope I'm not stepping on toes. I hope no one in this room has said the word bad chip publicly. I didn't research it. I'm just being honest.
Just found out about it, so I think we're good.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
All right, cool. So, I mean, for the most part, the conversation's been surrounding like either Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in Jaguars history, or either he's Blaine. This generation's like Blaine Gabbert. Like, there's been no in between. Everybody kind of has their trenches drawn. Like, that's what it feels like right now.
But he's not either one, and I think that's the objective look. And you ask most people that watch his game, it's a play-to-play scenario. You know what I mean? And that's why I think he's an average quarterback. I told you before, like I think he could be playing at top 10 at some point and playing, bottom third of the league at the other points. And that's why he's average. It's not because he's limited, ability wise. It's because of how erratic
consistency
is.
It's between the ears. It's between the ears for me personally. Like his mental game coming into certain, like sometimes he moves erratically, sometimes he reverts back to old footwork, sometimes he gets the ball out late. I think that there's just all of the things that like can go wrong might. You know what I mean? So like there's
everything that can go wrong will go wrong because Jaguars.
You feel me? So like I think that when fourth quarter comes around, for some reason, it's like, okay, forget this, like forget everything that happened. I do appreciate him not getting down on himself after he makes these mistakes, after he's mentally tough. He's mentally one of the toughest quarterbacks we might have ever had. So like I think in that aspect of it, you gotta actually give the guy a little bit of props for that.
Yeah. I just real quick, Travis, I was gonna say, I've mentioned this since he came in the league, really. And the reason why you have to let Trevor play fast. He's best when he's in that no huddle, hurry up, 2-minute, come from behind. So like if you look at his high school career, dominated, college dominated, 2022, that second half, he had MVP type statistics because he's playing that hurry up, no huddle system that he's able to play fast. He doesn't have to think. He doesn't have to, diagnose where, protections and stuff. He's had a lot thrown on him this year where he had to do way more than he ever had to do in the past. And I like that. I wanted to have the ability to do that.
Real quick, Connor, they did that in the first drive of the second half. They put him in a really higher tempo offense, and he drove the ball down the field with ease. Yeah. If we think about it, at the end, it did get tipped at the line for the interception, sure, but he drove down the ball with ease when the tempo was a bit higher.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, you mentioned the football, because that's another thing. I want to be clear in saying, like, we're not Trevor apologists on this podcast. I hope I speak for all of us, but we're also not water carrying people for the team. Also, like, this is not either thing. We're not caping for the quarterback just because he plays quarterback and he just happens to wear teal. Like, we want to have a nuanced conversation and just figure out where it is versus where it ain't. And you mentioned the goal line interception. That's obviously not on the quarterback, but most people haven't been talking about who is it on. It's on Patrick McCarry. It's on your offensive line, whose job is to get Calais Campbell's hands down, he hasn't engaged at the start of the play. He takes his eyes off of Calais to look for extra work at there is that time that Calais takes the jump for the ball, and that's what tips the ball into the air.
Like, I mean, he's also what 6'7" though. Like,
well, yeah, but that's what an offensive lineman's job is. Like, especially on a quick game, like that, their job is to get his arms down, to get his hands down.
What is he looking at?
Literally, he's looking for work. That's all.
What are you looking at? Like, come on, bro. Stay in front. That's Calais Campbell. Stay in front of him. Like, lock in.
That is the guy who is top 5 in the NFL in quarterback sacks. I probably don't want to take my eyes off him, but I do understand the philosophy of looking for work. But everybody's like, everybody's giving Trevor the credit for the interception because that's how stats work. But at the end of the day, in my head, I'm just like, nah, man. But we got to talk about who is at fault. Offensive lineman, get his hands down. That's kind of how this works.
You're not allowed to do that, Travis. You can't explain away. You can't explain the box score. Because that makes you Trevor defender. You can't do that. If he throws for 150 yards and 3 turnovers or whatever, like you're not going to be able to shy it away or say that he played a decent game in within the system. Like I forget what was his stats against the Chargers. Like he didn't do much. He had that one bad turnover on the sideline, but he played well enough to win. You know what I mean? It's like we got to pick our battles with what we're talking about with Trevor.
Agreed.
I mean, yes, but the Jaguars are 7-4. They're in a strong playoff push. Like, and they're being led by this quarterback, and in part because of this quarterback. Like, and what makes it an easy comparison for me, because I was in the barbershop earlier today, talking to my boy Q. He lives in Baltimore, Ravens fan. Right, Ravens fans are for the most part over the roof right now. Like they got a 6-5 record. They started off 1-5 primarily because of a lot of the injuries they got with the quarterback and the other guys on the roster. And comparatively, like I can easily put this up against the mirror. You got the Jaguars who are 7-4, also dealing with a pretty large list of injuries over the last few weeks. And when I asked folks on the socials about this exact conversation, like the response I got was, one of the responses I got was from ETA Abuser on Blue Sky. He says, I mean, the difference is Baltimore fans think their quarterback gives them a chance as long as they make the playoffs. Jags fans are still trying to buy into their quarterback, and so every loss is sort of like a referendum. I thought that was an interesting one, but I wanted your thoughts. Like, is it as simply as is that kind of it? Just the lack of the quarterback, or is that more to the conversation kind of being left out?
I think there's more to the conversation that's kind of being left out. That sounds like someone who watches the box score. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, we're talking about, like, because the quarterback situation, as far as drops go, as far as offensive line play goes, as far as, like, there's so many things that are wrapped up into this Trevor Lawrence experience to where when he puts us in position to actually win, it means even more. Right, because once again, even in this game, there were drops. There were drops that on clutch plays. You know what I mean? And he still found a way to throw a back shoulder to Parker Washington on the end. That was perfect ball placement and adjustment by Parker Washington. That, you know what I mean? Like, I think that when we're talking about these things, like, we gotta look at it in totality. You know what I mean? Don't look at it for the box score. Don't look at it for him just making the mistakes, because he had 4 turnovers, but he also had 3 touchdowns. So, like, I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't think that they're looking at it in totality.
You also can't compare Lamar to Trevor Lawrence. I think this is the issue we're boxing ourselves into. You're thinking Trevor should be Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Burrow, Lamar, Trevor. It's not ever going to be that, guys. I'm okay with him being a game manager and winning games and getting paid.
So I'm not speaking for myself, and I'm just asking from the perspective of a fan base that feels like they're crashing out over a 7-4 record. If you were to look at any of the socials, it feels like the Jaguars fan base is crashing out right now at 7-4. And these guys are 6-5, feeling great about it because they believe in the guy. But I'm wondering, is it only just the quarterback that's truly making this crash out happen? Or is there something more to say because there's the Duval PTSD of the coaching staff or of the receiver group, or is there something else built in that maybe I'm just missing?
Have the Ravens won a Super Bowl?
Not that I can remember. Not in Lamar's time.
They've won, but as an organization, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as an organization.
Have they has Lamar won MVPs?
Yeah. He's won an MVP.
Are the Ravens typically a good franchise? They draft well. They're competitive every year.
Absolutely.
Are the Jaguars any of that?
Yeah, no.
So no. The simple answer, guys, is it means more to the Jaguars fans than it means to them. Not because they care more or anything like that. It's because we've never had it.
Right. They've seen the success.
We're clawing for any success possible, and we should. And to your point, though, we should be happy with it. 7-4 for a 4-1 team last year.
I agree.
Should be unbelievable, right? But because we've set the bar so high as a fan base for Trevor.
Yeah.
It's the only thing you can think about. And when he wasn't perfect right away, you're pushed into two camps. Do I believe in this guy or do I not believe in him? And at the end of the day, if you said I don't believe in him, it's like everything else. I mean, you can look at politics, you look whatever you want. It's you can find statistics or biases
to back
up your point and say, no. I said he wasn't good, so I have to defend that. It's not even Trevor anymore, I don't think, because if you look at it objectively, you would sit right in the middle and say he's average. And he can win you games, and let's just keep it rolling. And maybe he'll progress in the second year with Liam Cohen, like most quarterbacks do, because he's had, I think, 4 coaches or coordinator. I mean, he's gotten the NFL run through the mud experience for any young quarterback to have negative success. If you want a quarterback to have a bad experience and make sure they're a bust, you do what the Jacksonville Jaguars did.
No, 100%. And which makes it even more impressive. I'm sorry, real quick. I'm just going to add this, but that makes it even more impressive for him to have as many 8-win seasons, 9-win seasons that, like, that he has. He's been through this thing, like, for the most part, and still has showed us a bit of success, in my opinion. Like, but whatever.
I'm always going to give him a pass for that, the mulligan for that chaotic rookie season, sure. And even the lack of a good structured offense in Doug Peterson's first year. I always thought he was dragging Doug Peterson to a coach of the year conversation, at least in that 2022 season, since most of his success came on the backs of being down 10 plus points and running hurry up offense, which means that your structure in the first half wasn't good. So and he did deal with some rough wide receiver play earlier this year that obviously is going to hurt his stats, but we keep talking around it. We haven't actually talked about it. The numbers are what they are. By now, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you're probably a Jaguars fan, and you've already seen Dan Griffin's recent updates on all the socials talking about Trevor Lawrence's turnovers with the lead versus trailing. And if you haven't, well, I mean, Trevor Lawrence has now thrown 9 of his 11 interceptions with the lead this season. 11 TDs to just 2 interceptions when tied or trailing. That's kind of the backdrop or the context that we've been kind of just talking around in this podcast about. He's an anomaly. And that's the best way I can say it, is because he is absolutely generational, but I don't think he's generational in the way that folks originally thought he was going to be. He is a different type of dude that we just haven't seen. He is one of one.
He is a one of a kind. He is one of a kind
in that way.
Yeah. One play you'll say that's my quarterback. The other one says get him off my team. I've done both. Within the same 5 minutes of probably the Cardinals game.
I've done both on the same drive.
Exactly.
That was what Dan Orlovsky said. I mean, just like Trevor Lawrence has throws on tape that look like he's the best player at the position in football, and then he has 3 to 4 throws a game that he looks like it's his first start. It's a roller coaster ride. If he ever gains consistency, ... That's the conversation.
So, Travis, what in your opinion though, like, what is how are you going to get Trevor to get this consistency that we all agree he has these flashes? He has these awful decision making, which I thought he cut down on turnovers. Like previous years, he did struggle with turnovers, and it's kind of crept up more and more throughout the last few games. But if we're honest, Trevor misses a lot of layups, and he turned the ball over, consistently. That's what he's done in the past. And just decision making as a whole. How does the quarterback cut those 3 things down?
So this has been my issue with Trevor for a while now. And when I say this, I'm speaking of not turnovers. I'm speaking of specifically fumbles. So folks are talking about generally talking when they talk about turnovers with Trevor, they normally are talking about interceptions. And honestly, that hadn't been my experience with Trevor. I've actually been one of the few people in my circles, at least, that like no. My issue with Trevor is not his interceptions. My issue with Trevor has always been his fumbles. It's because I thought the Doug Peterson team overall was bad at coaching the additional players, the other players to scramble behind him to actually like recover fumbles. I actually wrote a Big Cat Country long piece. I'm talking probably 5,000 words to talk about the stats behind other teams that fumble as often as Trevor Lawrence and as the Jaguars in those years under Doug Peterson had half the rate of fumbles lost. Like it was ridiculously different. So I thought that they just weren't doing a good job trailing the play and recovering those fumbles, and it makes his throws and his fumbles like look a lot worse. This year he hadn't had that big issue. This year it's actually been legitimately interceptions, and a lot of that has been just miscommunications with receivers until this week when it was like, all right, he's getting fooled a lot, and that was a rough one. The Arizona game, though, you can like, all right, that's a rough one, bro.
Yeah, that was really.
He has always struggled specifically though with red zone interceptions.
That's it.
Yeah.
Over evaluating how strong his arm is and not thinking of having better situational awareness of where you are in the down and distance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not being comfortable, but it's hero ball.
Yeah.
It's hero ball. It's but there's a lot of guys who are out there who's kind of like Kurt Warner, your Steve Young, your Warren Moon, like Rich Gannon. If you're talking about like the old guys who didn't figure it out until the older, in that older generation. Recently, you got Sam Donald, you got Baker Mayfield, and a few others. So like, there's a few guys where you can be like, all right, he's clutch in this moment. I think we could build on that if I can find a way to just get him to truly trust the system, trust this complex system and what it is, and not see shadows, not like freak out, not be too slow with your progressions. If you can just get him comfortable in the system, which I think you're slowly seeing. I don't know. It depends on how slow you want it to be.
It just doesn't feel like a first year thing though. Like, you know what I mean? Like it feels like the more that we're discussing him, we're more so talking about him. Once again, we spoke about it earlier, his first year in a completely new system that's probably way more complex than he's played in a long time. Yes. And so like with probably ever. You know what I'm saying? So when we're talking about his progression and week by week, it does look like he's getting more and more comfortable with the plays. It just seems like between the ears, once again, he has these certain type of like brain farts, and he makes these. He's not reading the coverages. He's not watching people drop back. And we'll get into the game, I'm sure. But like, I'm sorry. I'm just. It's going
Go ahead.
Again, of course.
Hey, get it off your chest. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, bro, but like even the Buda Baker interception was like, bro, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like it's
sorry, Flash. I was just thinking about Buda Baker on the edge too. Like, I thought the one where he had the fumble, the strumble, we like to say, strip sack fumble, for the TD wasn't as much on him. I can understand what you're saying, Travis, with he held on to the ball too long, which again is another issue he has throwing with anticipation for sure. But I thought even the Buda Baker one was on him, the sack specifically, because when he came up, they were like, oh, Buda Baker disguised it well. I was like, I saw him coming up, flying up off the edge. I'm like, you have to be able to anticipate that. And I thought he could check out into a different protection. And I think he's asked to do that more with Liam this year, but he's just not used to it. Because I thought that was like an easy fix. But to your point, what we were talking about, just circle back with the system, he's never had a run game. And I think this is where Liam really comes to kind of save the day for Trevor, is taking the pressure off him so he doesn't have to play hero ball. And that's why the run game is always so important for any young quarterback. But I think specifically for Trevor, if we can allow him to get into a game manager rhythm, and then, we all talked about at the end of the games, he excels. Like, I'm fine with that. That wins you games, guys. But
that's Pat Mahomes all last year. They got them to the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Because
get to the last two series of the games and allow him to do his magic at the last two series, and you'll probably be to win most games. That was the Pat Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs experience. If you want to go to the Super Bowl but not have a good team, that's basically what that was last year.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I lie? You got a mutant at quarterback, and then everybody else is just like mid. And it was just like, all right, they found a way to get to the Super Bowl with the talent of a great quarterback and an efficient, not great, but efficient run game and a good defense. That sounds like the Jaguars could do that.
Pacheco played really well last year, and I know this ain't a Chiefs podcast, but in that time span, Pacheco was running the ball angry. So yeah.
But what Travis is saying too is like a lot of really good quarterbacks. Even look at Brady in New England. Like, yeah, he had Moss that one year and Welker when they popped off, and obviously Gronk's like one of the best tight ends of all time. But look at all the other receivers he threw to nobodies for a long time with consistency. Nothing changed in his play. Like a lot of that was but pre-snap though. That's between the ears. That's figuring out where to go with the ball, throwing with anticipation, all that kind of stuff. Like he wasn't Trevor Lawrence talent-wise by far, and he's the greatest quarterback of all time.
I mean,
so you don't
start
need that.
Brady started off with the major handicap, always having a top 5 defense and top 5 running game until he figured it out.
Yep. But post the 3 Super Bowls, look from like I guess 08 to really 3. Even the only defense he had to really save him was like towards the end of his career. He put up maybe he didn't really win a lot like in between there. Like he lost a few Super Bowls, but in between there, he was throwing to kind of nobodies for a while.
I mean, fair. Like again, and then they figured out ways to be different, and eventually they leaned on him to be the guy, and he was able to be the guy because he was finally ready to be the guy. I don't know that necessarily the first year in the Liam Cohen experience with this guy just learning the offense in that offseason, coming off of his surgery himself, is probably the time to objectively say, all right, this ain't the guy. But also, I understand everybody else who's seen Trevor play for 5 years also being like, all right, dude. All right, this ain't it. And I know we got to stick with you at least for another year to 2 years. But also, I don't blame them for expecting more of him. Like, I understand all sides of that conversation. At least.
All sides. I understand all sides of the conversation. That's why, like, I'm not going to be a defender. I'm not going to be a hater. Like we said, you got to be right in the middle if you're looking at this objectively, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not the sexy pick to sit on the fence with Trevor, but it's where he's at.
Everybody got an opinion. Yeah, everybody got an opinion, and it's hard to say like, hey, I don't know that he's going to be the guy, but I'm all right saying I've seen enough flashes up that he might be. Like I've seen the Matt Stafford experience, I've seen the Jared Goff experience, I've seen enough of these guys to turn around on their second and third team, and you're like, he ain't gonna be it. And I'm like, I mean, we've seen flashes, so I mean, if I have to bet on it, I don't want to bet on it because that's a hell of a roller coaster. But I also can see it.
Yeah. I've seen him brought up, like Jameis Winston brought up a lot. And I don't think he's that extreme either. Like I've seen Brett Favre and Jameis Winston. I think he's like in the middle. Like he's got the talent of those guys, but I don't think he's
he might be more Brett than Jameis.
He might be more Brett than Jameis. Yeah. And I'm willing to say that because Brett Favre didn't read defenses. Brett Favre like said it on multiple interviews that he didn't read defenses. And I'm like, well, maybe that might be it. That man just did it by vibes.
Yeah. Today's NFL, you can't. It's not.
Yeah.
Today's NFL, these defenses are too smart. These coordinators are too good. These players are too fast for him to kind of.
Brett was reading energy, like.
But you said it. He's in his 3rd offense in 5 years. He's probably about to have. I'm gonna knock on wood. His 3rd winning season in 5 years with a really pretty rough coaching staff, pretty rough GM situation in his first 4 years, and potentially his 2nd playoff appearance on deck. Like we've all seen the flashes. Like we know the flashes are there. And I just heard somebody say the other day, everybody want to play the Jaguars until it's time to play the Jaguars. Yeah. Like they could beat anyone, but they could lose to dang anyone, and that's probably how it's gonna be until you get some consistency from him, right?
I wouldn't want to play us in a close game.
Not at all.
You might blow us out. You might blow us out by 20, 30 points, but you don't want to play us in a one possession game.
In a one possession game, I wouldn't want to play us in a one possession game at all. Especially if I've been on the sideline for a little bit.
I don't know that I want to play us in a blowout. I mean, at this point, the Chargers.
I don't want to play us in a
blowout. Saw 2022. They said on per the radio broadcast, teams were 50-0 with a +4 turnover margin since 2021. That record is now 50-1 after the Cardinals' overtime loss. But that's not even counting the playoff game, which because they did it again in 2022. Against the Chargers. Like Trevor Lawrence, when I say he is one of one, that's what I'm saying. Like He is the only dude in 25 years to do it once, and he did it twice. Like, think that through. When I say it, maybe that dude is generational because that don't happen in the NFL, and he's done it twice to two different teams.
Do you guys think we can beat the Titans twice and the Jets once?
Of course.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
We have a 10-win season if we do that.
Didn't we call that preseason? I feel like we called that preseason.
We were a little optimistic. We generally are.
All right. But before we jump there, because we will get into the playoffs. We will get into some playoffs conversations and talking about the schedules, and I don't want to just jump there just yet.
Okay.
Well,
I want to hear it. Travis really has been sitting in the weeds here, so we're kind of letting him off the hook. Tell us what you think about Trevor. What's your opinion on Trevor?
I think he's mad inconsistent. I don't think he has very good situational awareness. I also don't think he was set up originally well, because I thought Doug Peterson was a terrible choice for a coach, and I said it actively at the time, so I don't need nobody telling me hindsight and all this other stuff. I said it at the time he was hired.
I like Doug, and I'm disappointed. I
like Doug too. I'm not gonna hold you. When Doug
No, I ain't talking about personality. I ain't talking about as a person. I'm talking about as the coach for your quarterback who did not have the greatest base to start with. I thought Doug was a solid coach who's going to give you at least general structure. I'll give you that. But I did not think Doug was the right coach for a modern NFL scheme. And he never modernized it. He literally always his same offense that he ran in 2017 was the same offense you was getting in 2024. Hope you can make it work.
Yeah.
That wasn't going to be it. And it was never going to work against these match coverages against guys who are like, who understood what your offense was, and you never evolved it. So that was going to be good for Trevor to start with, to see what regular coaching looks like, but it was never going to be good for him to flourish. Right. So I was never a fan of it from that way. So overall, I thought Trevor was fine, but also a problematic quarterback who had never had the reason to kind of struggle and grind and figure out the minutia of an NFL offense, because he was always the best guy on generally the best teams with the best receivers. So this was a great situation for him from that perspective. Yeah. You got T. Higgins to throw to in college. You already doing well. Like, you put it in that range, you probably gonna be all right. So overall, I was never down on Trevor, but I was never super high on him because I understood what he was working with behind him and around him. So now that I think he has a good coach, I want to be very objective and clear in saying I think he has a great coach. I think Liam Cohen is not a good, but a great coach. I'm being real about that. And I would draw a line in the sand there. I was the one saying this before he was hired. They need to get that guy. I stand on that. The jury's still out on James Gladstone. I thought his promise was good. I would like to see what his drafts are going to become when they're actually on the field. I'm not willing to say he's bad or good. I think he's just bold. I'm cool with that at this moment.
Yeah, I'm cool with bold. I'm really cool with bold. In comparison to not doing it at all.
In comparison to being timid and and trading and bargain bending it up. Like, no, I'd rather you just make a few picks and make a few swings, and at least I know where you stand. Right. If it's good or bad, I know where you stand.
Yeah. I was very impressed with Liam. I think, coming in, there's so many, you've seen this story a million times where guys had success as a coordinator, offensive coordinator specifically, but, defensive coordinator too, where they come into a head coaching job and you're like, oh, that guy's great. And then all of a sudden he gets a head coach position and you don't realize all of the CEO, administrative, kind of, what you need to be, leadership qualities that you need for a head coach. That was my biggest question going into this season. I mean, everything on the field, okay, maybe we have the players, maybe we don't, but where's the organization going for the front office? Baselli, I like it. He's been around since the beginning. He's seen success. He's seen, us fall off the cliff. He knows the ins and outs of the organization as a personal thing. Gladstone, I was excited with the youth, the boldness, the aggressiveness, but with Liam specifically, I said, okay, it's another offensive coordinator, but can he get the team to rally behind him? Is he like a leader of men? Is he going to be able to hold guys accountable? And it's a fine line. That's a hard job as a coach.
I was with it too.
I had not zero faith, but I just didn't know him, right? Yeah. And we've seen repeatedly. I mean, you can talk about Saleh, you can talk about the locker room stuff, you can talk about the bye week. There's this team is so different. And it's because they're taking on the personality of Liam Cohen. If you watch that Cardinals game if they cut to him a million times, how frustrated and I would say competitive he was. It's like he's like playing Xbox. Like it's how I am, like playing Madden. I get pissed off every 3 seconds. But he was so competitive, and I think the team, when they're playing right, they play like that.
Yeah. No, I get it, bro. I think they do take on the personality of their coach, and if your coach is one of those timid guys or one of those like quiet guys who are just, I'm going to try to beat you in the lab by coaching. Like I hope it works out. I hope you are a genius at drawing plays up, because if you're not, it's not going to work out generally, and it probably won't work out very much for your defense unless you have a dog over there at DC also.
Yeah, coaching's important. There's the most important in this sport, obviously. But it's at the end of the day, it's still Jimmy's and Joe's versus X's and O's. Like you can have the best scheme in the world, but if you can't coach these guys, you can't motivate these guys, you don't have the talent, it's never going to work out, or at least develop the talent. That's the other thing he was brought in to do, is develop these guys, because we have the same exact team as we did since 22 for the most part. Like we've changed things around. Obviously,
if you want to compare it to 24, it's very similar. If you want to compare it to 24, I think this is a lateral move in a lot of ways. I've heard a lot of folks say that publicly. Like in a lot of ways, they didn't improve because even the guys you wanted them to improve with ended up being injured. Like a lot of the rookies or IR and everything like that. So it's very similar. So any success you're seeing is on the back of coaching. It's on the back of Anthony Campanelli. It's on the back of Liam Cohen. So shout out to those guys. Tip of the cap to those guys for their success. Camp is doing it. So I agree with you there. But just to wrap up Trevor talk, I really want to wrap up Trevor talk just because we're 35 minutes in.
Top 5 quarterback.
Not top 5. Jesus. All right.
right behind Jalen Hurts.
He's the weirdest thing right now, because I actually legitimately believe he's like a closer in baseball. Like if you had 2 quarterbacks, that you can just keep him to the side until the 4th quarter, even when you're down, and then you just put him in. No, you can't have him in for a half. Too long. But you can put him in just when you're down 10, or you put him in just for that 4th quarter when you gotta have it. Oh boy, that's gonna be it. You need 90 yards in under 2 minutes, get in the game, bro. You got it. Like that's probably the best thing, the best way I can look at him. But he's generationally clutch. He's just mind-blowingly inconsistent. If you need a David Garrard, if you need a prototypical game manager, it's just to milk the clock. And you ask me, how do I manage that? I'm asking you the same question. How does Liam manage that? Like, or do you just accept it for what it is, the life of a gunslinger?
I think you just need to make sure. What's that?
I think you have to at this point. Like, I mean, he's shown us what he is. He's shown you that he will put you in bad situations and in good situations. And that's just the gunslinger life, if you ask me. I'm not going to lie to you. We've seen it multiple times. We've seen these guys sustain season after season in the year. They always have a job. They always have, like, you know what I'm saying? These are people who we talked about Brett Favre. Brett Favre is going to go down in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? He is a Hall of Famer. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, when we're talking about these things, we're talking about these gunslingers. These people will drop back and throw the ball purely off vibes. And if that's who he's going to be, that's who he's going to be. Like,
I think if he has consistency within the organization, if he doesn't have to go through different coach every other year, if the offensive line can keep him upright and the receivers can catch the ball, I think just give him time. That's all I ask with Trevor, is just give him time. Like, I know we're impatient. I know we haven't done much for a very long time. But all you need to do is play the long game with Trevor Lawrence. What you do not want to do is say, hey, Trevor, it's been nice. You just haven't gotten us over the hump. We're going to move you to Pittsburgh and watch you win Super Bowls there.
I don't want that to happen either.
While we go through the quarterback carousel, where we're the Cleveland Browns every year, where you have the jersey where there's 55 guys on the back. You don't want to do that. Love the one you're with, okay?
Love yours.
You gotta dance with the one you brought. I got you.
It's not always going to be it's going to be a fun experience, but you're going to have a heart attack at the same time with him. But I do think if you can have consistency within the organization first,
and blood pressure medicine,
then you'll be able to just give him a little bit more time and ride the wave. Worst case scenario, just let him play out the contract. If it's not good enough, Fine, we'll move on then.
Well, yeah, he's gonna play out the next 2 years of that contract. I mean, he's gonna play it out to that natural out, in my opinion. Anyways, yeah. I have to believe that. Somebody asked, did he outplay Brissett on Sunday? I can't decide yes or no.
I saw the statistics. Matters. Yeah, I'm gonna take the guy that wins. He would have had 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions or whatever it was if that wasn't for the tip.
Let's not do that.
But I'm just saying. Okay, all right, let's take this. All right, 250 and 3 touchdowns. And I guess you can give him 4 turnovers.
I'm
trying not to go down this rabbit trail, and you get me there.
Yeah, no, but like when the game was on the line, who put together the game-winning drive? Was it Trevor?
That's fair.
Well, why did he need a game-winning drive?
Because Liam Cohen didn't kick the field goal.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Spade. I mean.
All right, you brought it up. You brought it up. So sounds like you've given me your opinion, Flash, on the fourth down decision. Instead of kicking the field goal to go up by 6, you wanted him to take the points. Is that accurate?
I wanted to go up 6 and make them drive the field and get a touchdown. They haven't shown us that they could drive the ball down the field all the way to go get a touchdown. They haven't showed us that the whole game. Anytime that they scored, we gave them the field position. So like I'm thinking to myself, like if we kick the ball down, make them drive it. Rely on the D-line who has gotten sacks, rely on the secondary. And by the way, I know our podcast tomorrow, Jungle Beat, come rock with us. I was gonna say like Antonio Johnson played lights out to me.
Yeah.
Personally.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Amen.
And that secondary, he played very well enough to one. He probably could have got an interception or something like that. I'm just speaking, but like make them drive the field. They did a bunch of checkdowns underneath routes. We played 10 yards off the ball all game. Please don't turn me up right now.
But to Flash's point, it's not the Raider game. The defense, I was confident in the defense. The Raiders had a backup quarterback and a really good tight end. The Cardinals had a backup quarterback and a really good tight end. We've shown them in this game or last game specifically against Cardinals, we could get after Brissett. We could get stopped. We could get off the field. I understand they still drove it down into the deep red zone and they had an opportunity to throw it. Whatever. I would have rather if we lose that way, we lose that way. But take the points. Liam, I talked to our guys too on Prowler Hour as well as the Jungle Beat. Like Liam's gonna get burnt. He's gonna get bit by.
Oh yeah, he will. Of course he will.
And it happened actually in the Chargers game. We just blew him out. We were doing things coaching decision wise to kind of let him in. Like if you remember the 4th and 2 in that game too, I think Trevor, that's where he got like his hand hit. It was like the fumble or whatever you want to call it. But
he called it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but just little stupid stuff like that. Like I'm all for being aggressive.
So this is where I've been like riding this line, and I think I've objectively fallen on one side. So I got 2 things I want to point out first, because I do believe that when you're trying to build a culture, you want guys to know this is how I coach. This is my expectation. I expect you to pick this up. So you then take on my personality. So I think there's a mental part of that culture building and with these decisions that are made. Like it's no different than the Dan Campbell Detroit Lions. Like folks,
I was just thinking about that. Yep.
This is who I am. And now I'm leaving it up to you to support who I am by proving it on the field, if that makes any sense.
By executing.
So so some of that, and the analytics crowd all generally agree that going forward is the thing. And I don't care about that part. I want to be very clear. Gus Lowe wrote a great article on Duval 22. Shout out to that. Shout out to Big Cat Country manager. But also it was a great write-up. But he said that I agree that that Cohen should have gone forward on that 4th down. And I agree. I just don't agree for the reason that he stated. He basically leaned on the analytics part of it and all of that conversation. I think they had the right play call with Tim Patrick running wide open. Obviously,
you're talking about that one. I'm not even talking about that.
I heard this the other day too, Travis. That wasn't that.
Well, this is great.
Oh, sorry. But no, Tim is wide open, right? He's wide open. They have the opportunity to convert on that down.
That's not even the one I'm talking about. That's not the one I'm talking about.
That's the 3rd down, though.
That's 3rd down. That's 3rd down to get to 4th down.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm talking about the bootleg. If we're talking about like the actual play call for me, if you're gonna go for it, have a better play call. Like you know what I'm saying?
Or run it. You're 4th and 2.
Like I didn't.
They had it was an illegal formation penalty, anyways. Let's be honest. It was coming back.
I don't think
y'all forgot about that, huh?
I don't think they should have done it anyways. But I don't think Tim Patrick, a sprint out right, Tim Patrick in the end zone was the play either. You know what I mean?
Well,
if you're gonna say hey, this is my identity, you're gonna talk about physicality every press conference. Run it down the throat, get the yard.
Then run it. But we've seen this team allow so far this season, just in Liam Cohen's experience, not talking about bringing in any other baggage. You've seen a team's backup quarterback march down the field on a game-winning or game-time situation against the Cincinnati Bengals, against the Raiders, the second Texans game. That was a 93-yard drive, blowing a 19-point lead, and even the Kansas City game where they drove 90 yards and scored with under 2 minutes left. That's 4 chances you've seen of this Anthony Campanelli defense give up points when you thought you could stop them from scoring the touchdowns, and they did not. If you're an offensive coordinator who was hired to be the coach of an NFL team, you're probably like, nah, we winning this on offense. Like we won it on offense against Kansas City. Like, I don't think that's an unreasonable thought process there.
It's not.
No, and to your point, the Cardinals went all the way down to the 5, 10-yard
and the only reason they didn't try for a touchdown was because they were running low on time. But if you would have kicked it off and gave it to them on the 35-yard line and all the same plays happened, they're going for the touchdown opportunity.
Yeah, it's just a fine line. I mean, I'm glad they won, so we don't have to really second guess it as much as we should. But
Flash don't like what I just said.
I don't. I hate it. It was facts. It's cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Don't you use facts against us?
Oh,
don't bring
man.
up me. I don't like it. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't make too much sense.
All right. No, you not. It's literally a discussion. Promise you're not a draft hater. Quarterbacks are not saviors. Coaching is what wins football games. We won the game, and you are asking if Trevor outplayed Brissett. Who cares? We won.
That's kind of my point.
I'm with that too, though. I'm with that
very much so.
I'm with that too. Shout out to him.
You guys asked about the playoff situation, right? Like
yeah.
Let's get into it. The Jaguars obviously 7-4, 1 game behind the 8-3 Indianapolis Colts, who have a murderous schedule full of all winning teams with winning records left on their schedule. Jaguars have the Titans twice. You have the Jets. You have 3 teams with losing records on your schedule. Meanwhile, the Texans have 2 teams with losing records on their schedule, the Cardinals and the Raiders, but they're also a game behind the Jacksonville Jaguars. So like you asked the question earlier, just looking at the schedule, like who has the leg up? Obviously that would be the Jaguars, right? Like that feels very easy to say.
Maybe. I don't know if you've been a Jaguar fan before. Maybe. I did do this exercise. I have my dad in town this week, and we just literally did this last night. And there's a lot in the AFC specifically. There is so many good but not great teams, and specifically in our division, like I could see somebody getting 10 wins and not making the playoffs. Like there's a lot of teams out there that Kansas City could go on a run. I mean, thankfully we have the tiebreaker, I guess, against them, but they could go on a run. I
think all 3 AFC South teams are going to be in the playoffs.
I think so too.
I think that there's a strong possibility of that. Can you pull up the graph?
Yeah. There you go.
I think I don't know the way that this week coming up, week 13. I think that this Texans Colts game is probably such a coin flip for me personally. Just off the fact of the matter of who do we want to win? Who do you guys want to win in this scenario?
Well, those are 2 different questions.
That was my question. All right, so hear me out. That was my question for y'all, because it was the biggest question on who you were rooting for is who do you want to play? Like, do you want to play? Would you rather play a CJ Stroud led Texans team with that defense or a Jordan Taylor led offense for the Colts? Like where you land there is who you're rooting for.
Yeah, I disagree a little bit. I don't think the team that I'm rooting for to win that game is different than who I want to see. Like, I would hate to play I'm so glad we're done playing Houston, because they're the hottest team right now in the NFL, especially specifically on the defensive side. Like, I'd hate to play them right now.
All season they've been hot. Yeah.
So, but I do wish in this game specifically, week 13, I want the Colts to win. Yeah. I want us to be tied going in. I want us to beat the Titans. I want them to fall down. We'll be 8-4 each. and then we're going to play them the week after, week 14. So that's what I want to see.
I would prefer to play the Colts as well. I think that when we're looking at just a defense in totality, we've yet to give up a 100-yard rusher. And we just saw last week what happens when you limit Jonathan Taylor to under 100 yards.
Right.
You rely on Daniel Jones. I would rather them have to rely on Daniel Jones to beat us in comparison to letting that madman run the ball all over us. And if we can stop the run, if we can actually get penetration, and if Camp can dial it up the way that we know Camp is able to do, I think that we have a really good chance to really stop their momentum, stop what's going on. And they just lost, so I think they might put belt the ass to the Texans. I'm not gonna lie, but I do think that when they come see us, that if it is what it is, we haven't given up a 100-yard rusher yet. That's all. That's what I'll say. And if you think you about to just run all over us in Jacksonville, you probably got another thing coming.
I will say this: I think we need to focus on winning the division. There's too many like I said before, there's too many good but not great teams in this. You don't want to be in the hunt. You don't want to be in week 17, 18, sweating it out over all and trying to do the mental gymnastics over all these tiebreakers and all that. There's going to be a handful of teams in there at in week 18 or the last week of the season. So
I agree with what Timmy just. I agree with what Timmy just said. I don't want to see Houston again because Trevor was scared to throw against Houston, and they can't run against him either.
But but hold on a second. We played. I mean, outside of that fourth quarter, between them and the Chargers, we played our best football all season right there. In a sense, maybe not because we didn't get all those turnovers like we did early on, but we're off the Texans game. Like we played them pretty well at Houston in a must-win game for them, and we saw that same team without CJ Stroud go and beat Buffalo. Right now, if you think Buffalo's for real or not,
I think Buffalo's Bitcoin. They're all over the place.
Up and down. Their stock is just like roller coaster.
But I think, and me and Flash have gone back and forth with the Colts all season. I think they are for real to a sense. He doesn't, but I would rather play them than Houston. I don't want to see that defense. The defense of Houston scares the crap.
They're going to kill someone.
The defense of Houston makes me more fearful for Jaguar fans than the offense of the Colts. I think now folks have seen what I said all season. I argue with this with so many people. I'm the one that said the Colts were going to win 10 games in the preseason. I said this before the first preseason game was ever played, and folks told me it was Kyle and Jaguars United told me I was crazy. When I made the comment, and I'm like, they're going to win 10 games. Daniel Jones is going to be 2022 Daniel Jones. Like, this is the best roster he's had, blah, 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 all the things. And I still stand on it. They're going to win 10 games. And I'm also the same guy that's also saying he was going to be exposed when they get into the more difficult part of their schedule towards the end. And that's exactly we're now seeing it. That's what's going to happen. So I think they're a good team, not a great team. They're just foundationally sound with a great offensive line and a good run game. You shut that down. The Jaguars are leading the league right now in run defense. Then I think you're going to be in a solid position to stop the Colts. I think the Houston team is actually legitimately dangerous.
Yeah, it's just a better matchup. And pull up just one more time, Travis. Pull up who the Colts are playing. So they got Houston at home, at the Jags. Then you have to go to Seattle.
You have to go to Seattle. It's crazy.
Okay, you have home game versus the Niners, which I'm pretty sure they just won last night, right? They have us again, and then at Houston. It's like that's why I'm saying it. If we beat, we'd have to win the division, but I think we could easily.
But they're going to be lucky to be 500 in the rest of their games. The Colts will be lucky to win 11, and they're probably going to win 10. And I think the Jaguars could easily get 10 out of this with the tiebreaker over the Colts. It's just a question of how that works out.
We need to split with the Colts, and we need to win our winnable games. I mean, if you can't beat Tennessee twice and the Jets once, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs anyways. Yeah. So you do that. You split with the Colts. I don't think anybody really believes in beating the Broncos at Mile High, but like I've watched them enough. Like they're okay. I mean, they're not unbeatable. It's a hard place to play. We have to play our best game, but I have faith in us going down the stretch here, but yeah, these other teams scare the crap out of me.
You have faith, and that's still something. I see 2 wins guaranteed on the Houston schedule, and then there's a lot of question marks on how that's going to land and whether or not they're going to make the cut as that
What are
third
those
team.
guaranteed wins? The Raiders.
I think they're going to beat the Raiders. Oh, sorry, not the Colts. I said the Colts, and I meant the Texans. My apologies. I was talking about the Cardinals and the Raiders. Wins for Texans.
I think the Chargers are kind of bowing out. I think they're falling quick. So I think that's 3 winnable games, pretty easy winnable games, especially if Stroud is healthy.
And that puts them at 9, and that still might not get them in. And that's kind of where this conversation gets real messy. But if they win the games that with CJ, if they play as good as they've been playing with Davis Mills, which is not guaranteed at this point.
If we dominated the Chargers O-line, they're definitely going to dominate the Chargers O-line as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we dominated the Chargers O-line, and that's because Justin Herbert played like a moron. And I want to be real about that. I'm being real about it. Like, again, I wrote the piece on Big Cat Country both weeks in a row before the game that said the Jaguars are going to have multi-sack games both of those weeks. And they're going to have a multi-sack game this week. I haven't written the article yet, but let me just They're going to have a multi-sack game this week against the Tennessee Titans because they're playing 3 guys who were near the bottom of the league in time to throw. And the Jaguars are around 2.7 seconds time to pressure. And basic math lets me know these dudes, generally speaking, are faster than these dudes throwing the ball. They're going to have a lot of sacks or a lot of opportunities for sacks. That makes total sense to me. So that's just kind of the Jaguars are entering favorable matchups for their defensive line.
1 + 1 = 2 to me.
Yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see us starting to take advantage of these battle lines finally. Like beat your winnable game. Win your winnable games. Win your winnable matchups. Like I think this team only is going to get better going down the stretch. Obviously, Trevor's going to take us as far as we can, and as deep as we can, hopefully in the playoffs, but it's just stay consistent and continue to build. I think we'll be fine.
BJ Green.
He did. That joke was so messed up. I mean, hit that man booty up in the air on national television in front of his family. That's not cool. It was great though.
I'm so glad you didn't have to pay that fine.
Like a lawn chair.
It was crazy. I don't know if you guys saw the Pro Football Focus grades from the game. Shout out James putting it out there. Sports Grind Don on X. The top 5 guys on the Jacksonville Jaguars was Britton Strange, Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers, Ezra Cleveland, and Cole Van Lannon, which is wild to me. Looking at the top of that list, that's got to give Jaguar fans a little enthusiasm moving forward as they get healthier and get more guys back. You got Strange on his first game back, Parker Washington balled out, Jacoby Myers again balled out, Cole Van Lannon taking over for Anton Harrison for the 2nd week in a row. Look really freaking good to make you start questioning what are they going to do with this Walker Little Anton kind of situation.
I don't know. For me personally, I was not super impressed by Cole Van Lannon, but he did show up in times where it was needed to be shown up, but I don't think I was super impressed by him. Like I think that if Anton is there, I think Anton would have, and we can't expect him to be that. He is the backup, but
Well, my question was, what do you do with Anton? Do you want Anton to be your left tackle? That was really my real question.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Thank you, my friend. I was just gonna say, I was just about to jump in and say, well, what are you gonna do with Walker Little? That's the bigger question.
Connor's been saying move Anton to the left side and put Cole Van Lannon on the other side. Like he's been saying that. Like.
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
If you have to have a guy who you're going to give help to, I'd rather be a Cole Van Lannon and leave him Anton Harrison on an island. But right now, you're giving both guys help anyways, as it currently stands.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think and Walker Little's played a little bit better. Like I have to give him as much as I dogged him, he has played a little bit better. And his track record and going into the season, like we all knew he was a bridge left tackle, and he's a C+. He was beforehand. He was a very C+ player, just like right down the middle. He's not great, but he's fine. Like he'll not ruin the game for you. And then sporadically throughout this first half of the season, and then obviously against the Houston Texans, he had meltdown. Like that's where it went off the rails. But I don't see Liam really. I mean, he's done it with Cam Little. He's done it with BT. Like he's trying to. I think he's going to ride with his guys. And, I don't think, Diami is not playing anymore now. So maybe
Does he exist?
Jacoby took that man's snaps, took that man's likely money for next year, just everything.
Lunch. That's crazy.
I love Jacoby. I think he's a great signing.
He was.
Let me ask you a question too. This, not to get off topic, but
sure.
Travis, just because we're not going to talk about Travis Hunter again until probably the off season. When he comes back, you're definitely going to re-sign Jacoby. Obviously, you're going to play. Parker Washington's playing out of his mind. You can't take him off the field. BTJ is a must start, in my opinion, until, if he starts off next season like he did this one, then we'll have a different conversation. But how do you see that rotation once Hunter gets back in, shaking out?
I started agreeing with you, and then it fell off towards the end as you kept talking.
Okay.
I want to be honest. I want to be honest with you. I started off with you. I was like, yeah. Oh wait, I don't know about that. I don't know about this one. All right, so I'm with you generally. When you say Parker Washington has been blooming, like he's just blossoming, like he's playing.
You can't take him off the field.
Well.
Pro Bowl,
but that's why I disagree. Right at that line when you say you can't take him off the field. I'm saying he's really dang good, and he's a really good fourth guy. But if you're asking me, do I need another type of guy on this field when you play against those dominant defenses like those Denver Broncos, when you're playing against those teams that's going to put some man in your face and press man you and not give you separation from these receivers, I need someone to take the top off these guys. And that's not Parker. And that's not the Parker. That's just saying that's not his skill set. That's not who he is. So that third guy should be BTJ.
Yeah.
I'm with that. I'm with not taking Jacoby Myers off the field. I'm with you there.
Yep.
Then the Parker Washington versus Travis Hunter Jr. conversation, I don't think that's very much of a conversation, but he's at least coming back from an injury. He at least is going to be playing cornerback and receiver. There is some give and take there where you can say Parker Washington and Travis Hunter, that mix and match there, depending on the play time.
I don't think it's a conversation at all. Parker Washington is better than Travis Hunter as a wide receiver, period. I don't think it's even close. Here's the thing, though. Today, but also I think going forward, he should. And I talked to Flash about this before. Travis Hunter should have been your cornerback one to begin with. Period.
No, you said that. He said
period.
It.
I can't agree with you.
All right, don't ask me. Ask Liam Cohen. What does he do best coming into the league? He
agreed
told
with
John Gruden.
I agree with that.
He's a cornerback. He's the most instinctual. Play him 100% there. And where did Travis struggle when he was in the game? Now, do I want to play him both ways?
Receiver.
I still want to play him both ways, by the way. He struggled with route running and the mental piece. Okay. We figured out that the mental piece was harder than we all thought it would be, which is fine. Sure. It's not a big deal. But it's easier to ramp up on defense. Get him the full package on defense. That's where you need him. You're playing with Monteric Brown, Greg Newsome, and Jarian, who's been playing nice recently, but Jordan Lewis will be there. Travis needs to play defense, guys. Just put it out.
He should play more defense. Absolutely. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just the question of which one should be more 100%. I think we have differences of opinion of what they're trying to accomplish. And this is not from what they've told me. This is not this is just my impression based on the things that I see and based on what I would do in the situation with the Travis Hunter. And from my perspective, it's not about today. It's not about this year. It was never about this year. It wasn't even, it's about in the end of this 4-year contract, maybe 5-year contract. Where would this guy be? This is where I want him to be. I want him to be doing all the snaps, 90%, whatever the percentage is on both sides of the ball. Well, then where would he need the most work? He needs the most work at receiver. So I'm going to spam this guy with as much work and as much information as I can give him early on in that area to get him where I need him to be. I'm going to do him the justice of giving him it all early on so that I make sure his ceiling of what I want him to be is truly what he achieves, because it's not about today. It's about then. So if you're saying give him 100% cornerback because that's what's best for the team right now, but they also didn't know the team was going to be without Brian Thomas Jr. Like, that's reactionary at that point. They wanted Brian Thomas to be their true number one receiver. He wasn't. So now they needed more. They needed Travis Hunter more at receiver around the time that he gets hurt. Like, that was how that worked out. But we wouldn't be having the conversation about the defensive backfield as much if the injuries didn't happen the way they happened, the Tyson Campbell no longer being on the team. Like, again, a lot of this feels reactionary based on the outcomes that's happening now. But I'm talking about the initial plan of what it was. I need this guy to be that superstar. How do I get him there? I gave him more receiver reps early so he can try to get the thing that he's not good at be a strength, if that makes sense. Like I need his
it makes sense, and I agreed with how they did it in the preseason training camp and all that. Once week 1 came around, you needed him to play. So that's my only argument. And I think what I was saying about Parker, listen, at the end of the day, if you have 4 guys that are really good and you can have a wave and a rotation, we've seen this year alone with Austin, no offense, but we got Austin Trammell and, Tim Patrick and Tim Jones playing these like meaningful snaps in games. Like, you need a decent amount of guys in the wide receiver.
Do you know Austin Trammell has 6 targets on the season and he has 2 interceptions thrown towards him? And multiple like double coverage routes where the ball shouldn't have been thrown to him in the first place. I thought that was a real funny outcome. He only has 1 catch on those 6 targets, and I'm looking at Trevor like, bro, why are you forcing these?
Why are you forcing
it to Trammell? But my point is this though. I think Travis starting next season, if in only my wish alone, like I'd have him start at cornerback. And then as he gets better, as he shows that his improvement, maybe he can take the snaps over from Parker. But I think at the end of the day, what they're going to figure out is they're just going to split up all of the snaps between all 4 of those guys evenly. Once Hunter is fully back and ready to go. Because talent-wise, I mean, it's really more about trust. Let's talk about that just real quick and we can kind of move on. Like, who does Trevor trust? That's really the biggest thing. He trusts Jacoby and he trusts Parker.
Jacoby and Strange.
He does not trust BT, and I hate to say it, he did towards like the end trust Travis, but in the beginning he didn't trust Travis at all. He was very hesitant on both. Where are you going to line up? Are you going to drop the ball? Like all these things with both of those guys. So keep the continuity and the chemistry. It's more important for Trevor to do that than just names at this point. That's where I'm
more important than the snaps.
But we are focused on names, and I'd say we by talking about the Duval is more focused on. Brian Thomas Jr. has got to be on the field, or does he? I mean, I'm agreeing that he probably does skill set wise, but you also have to play more like he was playing later in the season when he got injured, and less like he was playing earlier in the season, or maybe he don't need to be on the field. Like I can't really draw a line in that sand.
I can't call it. I can't call it.
I believe in BT still, and I think he's shown you before he got hurt. Like he was trending. You know what I mean? So
I think we started getting the ball
more confident as being that J-Mo Williams, being that deep ball Christian Watson, whatever you want to call it. Just stretch the field, give him those Tim Patrick snaps, and be your field stretcher at that point. Give him 4 balls a game of those deep balls. Let him do the thing that he was good at LSU, and that'll be your field stretching guy. Like I'm okay with that.
And I would like them to see next season, or maybe this season too, when he comes back. But Doug Peterson did a really good job getting him involved in the short game too. Like I know Liam was trying to get him more like 10 to 15 yards intermediate routes. I think what's going on, Jason? What I was gonna say though is in the intermediate routes, that's where he was trying to get him involved and over the middle. That's just not BT's game. He's deep, he screens, and he's shallow crossers. Let him do that.
Get that boy up out of there.
Yeah. So I think they need to get back to more of the screen game with BTJ, get in his hands quick and allow him to use the speed on these shallow crossers too to get open on man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against that. Yeah, if that works for BT, I mean, again, and figuring out whether or not they're going to sit down in the zone and run into the other coverage. Like that was a problem they all had issues with, including Diami early on in the season. And shout out to Jason. That man says, reluctantly, I agree with Travis on this one. I like it when I can get Jaguars United to agree with me. This is a good day. Hallelujah. No, overall, like, hey, so you guys have already, like, we've had the Trevor Lawrence discourse. We've had the Trevor Lawrence conversation. We've talked about the rest of the roster and what's going on with the receiver room, because a lot of the issues early on wasn't just the Trevor Lawrence situation. It was also the receiver disconnects, those guys learning the offense too. And as soon as Trevor Lawrence gets a veteran receiver of Jacoby Myers to come into the offense and kind of understand it, he gets Brenton Strange back, he gets Parker Washington, all those quarterback friendly guys. All of a sudden, Trevor Lawrence looks better until this week. I mean, he looked a little. He had some hiccups.
Let's stay in the present though. This week,
but overall, globally,
I think he'll have his probably
Globally.
best week this season. Trevor really should have this week, especially if BT
Maybe.
plays.
But whatever happens with Lawrence is going to happen, man. In the meantime, he is who he is. He's an inconsistent game manager who transforms into Baba Yaga in clutch moments. Like that's
he's the
that's who
boogeyman in
he
the fourth
is.
quarter.
Yeah, he's the
hell
boogeyman
is
in the fourth
Baba
quarter.
Yaga?
Y'all think it's a game. You think it's a game, but in high leverage moments, they're gonna win most times because of him, but occasionally they're gonna lose because of him in the regular, like in the first 3 quarters because of that gunslinger mentality. But to wrap it up, I just think folks need to like back up and see what the season has become, and let's just kind of just breathe a little bit. Like I put this on the socials earlier last week. After a 4-win 2024, the Jaguars are 7-4, 1 game back from still in the AFC South. Parker Washington is the team's leading wide receiver with 421 yards. Eric Armstead is leading the team with sacks and is top of the league in defensive tackle sacks, which is just crazy. Devin Lloyd is leading the team with INTs, and he's top 2, I believe, in the NFL in interceptions as a linebacker. Trevor Lawrence has 19 touchdowns, 14 turnovers, and 4 game-winning drives. Like
that last stat, 4 game-winning drives is the one that matters the most.
Yep.
The one that matters the most. Like
that's the big one.
I understand.
If you're a quarterback wins person and he has 4 game-winning drives, yes, you needed one of those game-winning drives because he made it that way. But the rest of them, I mean, you got game-winning drives because it's important.
In some games too. I mean, look at Cincy too. Like Trevor, one of his best games was in Cincy this season, and he was clutch, but the receivers let him down too. And obviously the defense let Jake Browning go 100 yards, just like Davis Mills. You know what I mean? It's like there's some of these things you could cut it either way. You know what I mean? You could see, the turnovers thing is like really the biggest thing for me with Trevor, but that and the accuracy on these layups, but I don't know.
Oh, bro, we gonna talk about that on Friday. We got Ben Troop. We got Ben Troop, former Tennessee Titans tight end and friend of the pod. He's been on like 3 times at this point, coming on to preview the Titans game. So that's gonna be an interesting one Friday morning, and it's gonna be live in case anybody wants to pretend to be working at the time and wants to hop in. 8:30 in the morning, we'll be on.
Are you guys doing it live right here?
Yeah, we do it live on YouTube, and then it's always on demand on the podcast version. So if anybody wants to hop in and talk trash to a former Tennessee Titan, that will be your moment to get in to come on into the pod.
Heckle him a little bit.
Yeah, he's like Cam Newton. Now he loves to talk, bro. So that might be a longer one. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, the Jaguars went 1-9 in 1-score games last year, and they're currently 5-3 in those same situations. Folks around the city have very clearly said that this roster is no better than the roster last year. So I wanted to, again, give the shout out to Liam Cohen. I wanted to get a shout out to Anthony Campanelli. They have a 63% win rate right now when they were 10% last year. Like they got the right coach. They got the right DC, it sounds like to me at least. And we'll see what's happening with the GM. But overall, they went from winning 4 games last year, and they have the 5th dead cap in the NFL right now at $83 million. Your general manager is working clearing up bad contracts, and it still has a competitive NFL roster. You don't generally see that. Like, I'm just being real about what we're looking at and what we're kind of like evaluating right here. So ceiling, the whatever the ceiling is for Trevor Lawrence is going to be a question mark for 2026. I don't think we're going to be able to solve that today. But in the grand scope of things, I just personally got to ask the question, man, what is that to be negative about? Y'all got anything else for me, gentlemen?
I don't. I mean, like you just said, from 4 wins to 7 wins, man, and looking potentially at a double-digit win season. I don't even remember. What was the last time we had a double-digit win season? Who was the quarterback?
Bortles,
Blake?
Was it really?
Was it really?
And Bortles, because of expectation, he doesn't get the he's the boat. But if Trevor comes back, let's say Trevor does this and then comes back after all these years, like he's probably getting tomatoes thrown at him. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm very happy with where the team's at. I think you just have to be patient. It's going to be a roller coaster. Just sit back. It's football. Breathe. Don't have a heart attack on game day. Don't break your TV. Like
blood pressure medicine, y'all.
Brother. I swear, I'm going to die watching the Jaguars game. I do hope that that's how it happens in life. If I have to die doing something, make it do the thing that I'm used to at least point. Like that's it.
Yeah, at this point, man. Yeah.
Hey, let them know. Hey, man, let them know where y'all can be found, man. I appreciate having you on. Like Flash, let the people know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we were a little confused in the beginning too. So me and Flash are part of the Jungle Beat podcast. We record at Strings Brewery every Wednesday downtown. And that one is at 7:30 typically if we're punctual. But that one's our flagship show. But we're, as a bigger picture, we're part of Happy Hour Sports. So a bunch of content creators trying to mix with local media to get that credibility. But we have the Prowler Hour podcast. It's more of a recap show that's at Mondays at Strings Brewery in Jax Beach. Jungle Beat is on Wednesday, like I mentioned, at Strings downtown. And we're mixing in more and more too. So stay tuned. You can follow us at Happy Hour Sports Media on YouTube, or Connie Football on X, Flash Samurai on X. We love to talk shit, drink beer. Typically we have sunglasses on too. It's kind of just part of the brand.
Listen, I was ready. I didn't know how Connie was gonna move. Like I was ready. Like, but
yeah. Check us out. Like and subscribe. This is our first year, so we're a little new to all this, but we appreciate everybody. Obviously, like Travis.
You'll be back.
We've had a lot of really good just networking within the last first month. We started this in August, so everybody's been super receptive.
Yeah, super
really
cool, super nice to us, man. I really appreciate it. Just piggybacking off of what Connie's talking about, like I really appreciate it. Just coming from like the art side of Jacksonville over to this side and this content space. And I'm super just appreciative of all the love that everyone's been showing me, man. So thank you guys. For real.
It's Thanksgiving. So thank you all.
Yes.
We're thankful for you all.
We're very thankful.
Yes. Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family. If you don't like your family, enjoy your friends. Enjoy and make a new family. Do what you got to do to put positive people around you. If you don't have a great family, find somebody in the Duval fan base and build your community. At the end of the day, man, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Hug somebody. Be nice to somebody. How about that? Let's go there.
Let's put to bed the Civil War talk within Jags community. Let's end it now. Let's rally together. Yeah. Let's rally together. We're going north. We're going in one direction. We're going to the playoffs. We're gonna have double-digit wins. We're winning a playoff game, probably in New England.
May even get a playoff game. Lucky enough. Let's go.
Yeah, let's try to win the division, but let's stay together though. Let's not eat our own. Trevor is just one of the cogs. You know what I mean? He's only one of the players. So let's
we might look back one day and be like, y'all remember when Trevor was like inconsistent? That was crazy. That dude's a boss now. Let's go.
Exactly.
So, I am Travis Holmes, BigCatCountry.com, the Duval Dive. Obviously, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, please like and subscribe on the YouTube. And if you're listening on the audio side, please rate and review us. Don't give me a 1 star. Like, come on, man. Stop playing. 5 stars or it don't count. 5 stars, or I'm calling IT and we deleting it. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, we deleting it. Only good stuff. But yeah, BigCatCountry.com. We'll have the post-game recap up on Sunday after the game. But check in with us. So again, Friday morning, Ben Troop is coming on. You know, that man loves to talk, and he's Cam Newton light. Like that's what it is. So it's gonna be great to have the former Tennessee Titan tight end on to preview this Titans victory for the Jaguars. That's what it's gonna be. The Jaguars victory over the Titans. There we go. Fast, boy. Y'all know what it is. And yeah, click that like button for me, man. But that's what it is. Duval. Love y'all. Appreciate you.
Duval.